Good running, Amelia.
I got good.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty normal way to finish a race.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
All done.
Welcome to another episode of Toby's Stupid Vlog.
Hi, happy Tuesday. So, for the last time for a while, I'm going to get to do my walk to read board papers, which is, do you know what, actually I can probably go this way. So this is Ockham, and this is where I come when I want to go and sit in the middle of a field, and this is not the right path. Let's try this again. You can tell I haven't been here for a while for a number of reasons. One, trees have fallen over, so sort of reasonably minor thing. But secondarily, I suppose I haven't come to do this walk since I probably didn't do it in the winter quarter of board meetings, which was the last one, so it was probably 6 months ago. I used to come here quite regularly. It was a bit of a drive from Kew, and then do this walk, which takes about an hour, to a field in a barn in the middle of nowhere, so I could read my board papers in complete peace, and you get time to think on the way there and a bit of time to think on the way back, which is hugely useful when you're absorbing lots and lots of information. But this is my last board meeting tomorrow, in fact, and then I step down from the board officially at the AGM, which is like a week after that, 13th, no, 20th, I think. Anyway, I should know that, but I don't. So this is the last time I'll get to do it for this board, for RHP, Co-op Homes, etc. I really hope that this is not the last time I get to be a non-executive director of a housing association, because it's been fascinating. I'm applying for another one right now, as in I have the application on my laptop on my back, and I'll be filling it in today. But it's the last time I get to do this for RHP, and I've always come here over the last 4 to 5 years. Certainly, maybe not 4 to 5 years, but certainly since 2019, to come and read my papers and get away from the world. And now it's 10 minutes down the road, which is amazing. I haven't come here since it has been. In fact, I've barely been for a walk since this has been on my doorstep, and it feels ridiculous to move into the Surrey Hills and then not see them. So we're changing that today. We're going for a walk. It's a bit of a change from yesterday when I was in Wimbledon, the tennis club, not the town, working, making podcasts, as I have done for the last few years for Wimbledon. Very enjoyable, although somewhat stressful process. So it's nice to have a change of scenery, change of pace. It's nice to finally go for a walk, remind myself why I like it so much. Do you know, I've barely vlogged since we moved, and when I finally get to go through all this, I think it's going to be a mission. Hopefully I'll have some time. Haven't had in the last 6 months, but you never know. It's therapy, vlogging. It's being able to say things out loud, organise your thoughts. And when we were in the process of moving, it was so massively necessary, because it was such a horrible, stressful process. And, you know, now things are just chaotic in a different way. So it's, you know, there isn't time to do it, but you desperately need to. And the problem with all things when you don't do them regularly is you get out of practice, and so I've clearly forgotten how to do this. I walk and talk at the same time. But, you know, I hope that we'll manage to get life back into the sort of balance that allows me to do this more regularly again. I you know, it feels a little bit difficult and a bit impossible at the moment, and that's partly because everything, you know, we've got so much going on in the house, and it's such a sort of financial strain, to be honest, that I'm doing loads of work as well as doing loads of things around the house, and there's not a free moment. And when there is, Amelia's back, and you know, she's needs entertaining, is the short version. So so like free time feels very, very precious indeed, very precious. But I'm hoping that we'll start redressing this balance in the next month. Certainly things are less stressful than they were back in March before we moved, but they're not less busy. In many ways, the frustration there was that we weren't busy at all, and we felt like we should be. So there was a lot of time, but it was very stressful. Here there's no time, but it's actually much more pleasant. And that's not to say, you know, there's not a high level of exhaustion. There definitely is. But like, you know, you talk about good problems and bad problems. We have good problems now. We had bad problems before. So you've got to seize those, really. And yeah, it has meant that I haven't actually had that much time to focus on the board and my next position, which I, you know, planned on looking for a year ago, to be honest. But, you know, you put your energies where you have to. That's what it comes down to. You have to make your decisions at the time. So, you know, no regrets. I just long for these days, like today, where I get a bit of relaxation. I'm going to turn the camera off in a minute and just have a bit of tranquility, because, you know, tomorrow, which is Wednesday, I have my last board meeting. In the morning I'm filming, so I'm driving in central London, filming, then driving back to Teddington. Got meetings from 2 p.m. till about 6. Then we're going out for a sort of farewell dinner, and then that's Wednesday, isn't it? Then Thursday I've got to edit a load of stuff, which is going to come back from Wimbledon, but I have the afternoon to myself, hopefully. Friday I'm back in Wimbledon for another podcast episode. So it just kind of rolls on and on. Anyway, if in doubt, go out. I have an amazing garden, but actually go out, see the world. Spend a bit of time away from urbia or suburbia and realise how beautiful nature is. This time of year especially, it's not too hot today. It's really green, the ferns are enormous. I can't navigate because none of my landmarks are visible, but it's beautiful. What a beautiful walk it is. It's helping. I'm relaxing slowly. I'm not there yet, but it's definitely better than stewing at home trying to work out what I'm going to do about the bathroom or the next set of plaster work. This is much more pleasant. Look at that. There's the sheep. Here's my barn. Thank you, barn. You've been very good to me over the years. An hour and a half later, sitting on my handy sofa there made of hay, I am done. I have a walk back now that's about an hour, and then when I get home I've got to apply for a new ball position. So, you know, it's all go. I'm also waiting on an email about whether I can actually finish a project that I started yesterday, but it turns out they've pronounced half the names wrong in the recording, and now they're in a lot of trouble with the client. So I'm not really getting involved with that until I have to. Anyway, I'm off to enjoy my stroll through these fields. This used to feel so far away. It used to feel like I was disappearing off into the countryside, miles from home, hour from home, you know, really remote. And whilst it still feels remote in the way that you rarely see anyone, and it's beautiful and rural, and you know, the only thing in sight is a tractor turning the hay, it doesn't feel far from home at all. It's fantastic. And I thought that would be worrying, and you know, like it would lose a bit of its charm. Actually, no, it feels great. The fact I can come back here on a whim, it's awesome. I love it. So let's do more walks. That's what I've decided. Let's do more walks again. They're really good for your mental well-being, and I crave them, if I'm honest, at this point. And it's such a lovely part of the world and such a lovely time of year, so no more excuses. And I'm gutted that I missed spring around here because of the chaos really with our move, but we're going to be here for years, so you know, just gotta wait it out. Now it comes out reasonably clear on camera, but it's not quite so clear in real life. You can see that plume of smoke that's coming out from over there in the north, that is towards Woking. It's actually, I think it's Bisley or Purbright or somewhere around there. There's a forest fire that's been going on for the last day and a half, and you can see the smoke. It's just sort of billowing out over here. You can actually smell it in our back garden, which is crazy because it's not that close, but it gives you some idea of how devastating a forest fire can be and how wide-reaching it is. In terms of, that's probably, I don't know, at least 10 kilometres from where we live, and it's not a massive fire. Well, I mean, by British standards it is, but by sort of international forest fire standards it's not. So it's incredible how local it feels when you're sitting in our garden. This is Wisley Airfield, currently filled with, now I'm not sure if this is wheat or barley. If you are a farmer, you will say, oh, I can't believe you can't recognise that. It's something to do with the floppiness of the head. Now, some of these ones aren't the same as most of those ones, but it's possible that both are growing in this field. Anyway, I'm nearly back to the car. It's just on the other side of those woods. And then I'll be home in 15 minutes. Very relaxing.
So I didn't know that this was a thing. He's come back to loads of photographs with all of the people who work at Wimbledon, the ground staff, the ball boys and the ball girls. That is so cool. They are treading on grass that very few people get to tread on. Yes, I don't know that it is advised that you get down in these yellow grass. I've been escorted off Central 3 times so far for giving it a go. You know, that's quite understand how I get back in. So I can't get any lower more.
You've never been that low.
I've been lower than that.
I've got the shot in 5 years.
Yes. I'm pleased to see, and actually maybe you can learn something, is that I don't see Novak directing the photographer all that aggressively. I think he's just letting him get on. You know, it's
After Charlie, before we go to me, or should we just do the outro all in one? Do we want to, thinking out loud, where's my exec? Do we want to do message in a bottle as a pickup in between Charlie and Millie, or go from Millie, Charlie straight to Millie, and then do message in a bottle and the awards?
Probably nice to break on the interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
sad they've taken away the net, otherwise we, would have had a go. They replace it though with this little bird. This bird's It was powerful when we read it earlier. It's powerful now. Let's walk like champions, shall we? Over to the honours boards. There's one for the gentlemen's singles and one for the ladies' singles as well. Firstly, I think it's incredibly hard to get these looking as straight as they do. When I watched it on the telly, I thought, whoever's doing that transfer, that stencil transfer, oh, they've got a good eye for it.
A lot of pressure, right? But I tell you what, so this is right before you step out the doors to centre court. Now look, if you're Djokovic, if you're Federer, if anybody who's won this recently, your name is just all over this board. You feel pretty good going on centre court.
I know, Cameron Djokovic is an old Now, I imagine it was a lot louder for Djokovic when he came out, and for Buffy.
More cheers.
Yeah. So we actually got the balls to centre court, which I don't know, have we got permission to do this?
Stop there.
Stop here. We are being stopped. We're going to be encouraged back. That's a shame because I was about to serve a ball at quite high power. Never mind. Never mind.
The grass is a lot shorter than I thought it would be.
The tennis court is small, isn't it?
Well, it's a normal size tennis court. It's weird because you feel like
It feels much bigger. I know. It's weird.
It's like a little.
Ready? Hi there, happy Wednesday. I finally got to go for a walk from my front door. We've been in the house 3 months, and this is the first opportunity I've got to do a walk from the front door. I did one other walk, which I drove to, but it was like a 10-minute drive, which is also very nice. But it's one of the reasons to live here, is that you can just go for a walk. It's a very hot day, and I'm very grateful for the current temporary tree cover I have and the slight haziness. But it's at some point, when in doubt, go out. So here I am. I thought I'd reflect on the fact that it was Walter's birthday last month, and that always signifies to me the date that I went freelance. And I try and comment on it every year because it still does seem significant to me. And the reason it seems significant 9 years later is that there's almost no decisions in your life which you can say with absolute certainty is the right decision, without question. There are a few. You can count them on your hand. One hand, probably. And this is one of those decisions. I look back and I think, do I have any regret at all from the fact that I no longer employed full-time by Global Radio, or anyone for that matter? And I can categorically say I have zero regrets, even when I have no work, even when finances are difficult. I still don't have any regrets. It never occurs to me that a solution to that problem would be to go back into full-time employment. It's an insanity of a life, and I would never return to it. Things are so different 9 years later, and much to the positive, partly because of that decision. The reason I'm going for a walk on a Tuesday in a field in Surrey is because that's where I live now, and that's possible because I don't have to be in an office every day. And in fact, thank you, pandemic, neither does Crystal. And now I can do fun things instead. Also, not so fun things, like I painted, some walls this morning and did some rewiring. Not fun, but, better than being in an office. Look at this. This is the Clarendon Park estate. And, meadows rule. Fun side note, this path, I was walking this path, admittedly, I think in the other direction, when I had my mortgage offer approved to buy the house. Strange place to be to do a mortgage application, but you know, that was October. Yes, it was, which is why our mortgage application nearly ran out. I'm very proud of our mortgage because it is a pre-inflation mortgage at an absurdly low rate, fixed for 7 years, which is, you know, nuts. Especially now with inflation looking like it's going to hit 11%. So yeah, I'm so glad we squeaked it, because otherwise I mean, we're already quite poor following this purchase of this house. I mean, cash poor. Obviously we've got an asset, but we would be cash bankrupt if we had a mortgage rate that was at the current levels, or rather we would never have been able to buy the house in the first place. So yeah, it's nice when things that are designed to work against you work for you, and that is one of these things. So I've made it to West Clarendon. I've just stopped in the Bull's Head for lunch, because that's what you can do when you live in the countryside. You can walk to the pub, have lunch and walk home. It's delightful. West Clarendon there's a train station up here, and there's also another pub called the Onslow Arms, which is very good. Most of the pubs around this part are a bit gastropubby, so you know, which is great if you want like a fancy meal on a Sunday or a weekend or what have you. The Bull's Head is charming because it's 16th century and it's very traditional pub, like no frills, but very, very good service and very friendly and cosy. It's great. We usually go to East Clarendon to the pub, because believe it or not, Clarendon is big enough to have an east and a west, and the west side has 2 pubs and the east side has 1 pub. That's 3 pubs in what is effectively a village. I don't think there's a church though, interestingly, or a post office, but there is a train station and there is a massive National Trust house. So you know, that's most of all the things you need. Now I'm going to wander slowly back and past this fun little apple tree. Yeah, it's nice living here. It's good. Tell me that isn't spectacular. I have to say, although it's mainly to do with the weather, I realise, but the sky around here is very big and we get some amazing sunsets that I'm not used to seeing in Kew. And I think part of that was that, you know, we lived in flats and the view was obscured. So we just didn't get to see it because it was behind a house. And the fact is now you know, we can see to the bottom of our garden, and it's quite a long way towards the horizon. But maybe it's just, I don't know, the clouds around here, because you know, good sunset requires there to actually be clouds. Because we're at the end of the Surrey Hills, you get these sort of clouds that are formed as they lift up off the hillside, and so you often get quite a nice cloud formation, which leads to a nice sunset. But maybe I'm overthinking it. Still, it's ever so nice. We have a window on the side of the house and literally points at the sunset. It's amazing. As is often the case with these sunsets, they just get better and better and better, and then suddenly they just stop. But look at it right now. I mean, this is insane. I haven't seen a sunset like this in this country maybe ever. Bonkers. Totally unreal. Love it. We're back in Kew Gardens for the first time in 3 months, which is an insane statement in itself. Someone who basically used to live here. Just slowly meandering through the barren grasslands. Amelia's gone to read the sign, which is impressive because I don't believe she can read, but anyway, she knows what a sign is. It's locked. This is High Clarendon Vineyard. Now from the top of the hill here you can see a long way. To give you some idea how far, we're going to do maximum zoom and see how the camera copes. So in the shot you should be able to see, whoops, dropping trouble focusing, some tall buildings over here. This is, there you go, central London. So this is High Clarendon, which is the last of this vineyards of the Surrey Hills that I've not been to. It's absolutely stunning. Wildflower Meadows have currently got a sculpture exhibition on at the moment. The vines are further down the hill, but it's called High Clarendon because of that view, as you can see so far, and it is a spectacular location on a summer's day. You can just hear the grasshoppers and crickets. And these tree-lined avenues around their magnificent garden. I mean, our garden is huge, but this is another level. I mean, this is not really a garden, this is more land. This is acreage. It's very, very, very stunning. Rose pergolas. Beautiful. We're just having tea under the tree. This is always an interesting place to do an event. The Honourable Artillery Company. They have obviously cannons and a cricket pitch and an amazing location overlooked on all sides. It's the Barbican Towers, and then there's the venue itself. It's very, very nice indeed. I am in the car park of RHP. I've just had the AGM. I'm no longer a board member, which is a really weird thing to say after 9 years, and I need to leave this car park for the last time. Not massively emotional car park, but like this has been a really important part of my life, and this has been a really enjoyable role. And tomorrow I'm going to interview at another housing association. We'll see how that goes. No guarantees, because I haven't done an interview from that side of the table for about a decade. But you know, we'll be in a new car park tomorrow, and it might be one that we stay in for a while, or it might not be. Look, it's another car park. This is Chelmer Housing Partnership. All the housing partnerships that were developed by stock transfer housing associations, i.e. associations that were formed by taking houses from the council and creating a new organisation, all often have HP, housing partnership, the idea that the association works with the residents, with their contractors and what have you. But nowadays nobody says the housing partnership bit, they all just go by their 3-letter acronym. Anyway, I've been here an hour and I'm going to go home, but I might pop into a vineyard on the way because I can. Hello, it's a Wednesday. Yes, it is, and I'm on my own at home. This room is now mostly painted, as you can see. It's still a bit blotchy in places, but Crystal's done a very good job of covering most of my blotchy work. There's a few bits I need to do on the ceiling still. This is only the undercoat, obviously, but you want it to be quite even. Up here is still, you know, unplastered mostly, and the bathroom is still all to come out. Stairs, not going to be done until probably last. All the other bedrooms are plastered. The kitchen, we took one cupboard out because we want to move the pipework from over there to over here. And the rest, I'm recording this because the rest of this kitchen will be out in a couple of days, and this is the last time I'll see it in such a state. This is probably the worst it has ever looked. But it never looked great. I mean, there used to be a bit more of a work surface over there. As I say, there used to be a cupboard here and a bit more work surface here. The carpet used to be, the liner used to be in slightly better condition. But yeah, this is the last time we'll see it in this terrible condition, because it'll get everything pulled out to the bare walls. Then it's going to get replastered, ceiling's going to be finished, and then we get a new kitchen. And frankly, I can't wait. Between that and the bathroom, that is my big thing for this house. I'm going to go back out to the office and carry on. I'm editing podcasts today. I've been editing lots of podcasts this week and I'm doing another one tomorrow. Good evening. So I've finished my third podcast edit inside of, pretty much inside of 24 hours, to be honest, which was quite impressive by my own standards even. There's a bit more to do on it, but not masses. Insert a line, do a promo, blah, blah, blah. And tomorrow I'm recording and editing a different podcast for the Premier League. And then Friday I'm filming something, so that should be a nice change. I'm very much looking forward to not doing a podcast on Friday. And then I'm caught up for a bit. Monday I'm recording another podcast because that's my life. And then I have nothing scheduled for Tuesday, but I bet you there's some pickup on the work I'm doing this week. And then Wednesday I'm going to go and work at a vineyard. So yeah, my life's a bit random at the moment. And by that point we will have had the old kitchen removed entirely and it will have been replastered and partly painted. And then the new kitchen will start being fitted on Tuesday, I think. So there's a lot going on. It's quite stressful, but it's progress, and you know that's a good thing. And we will sleep later, hopefully. Right, you gonna go back down the slide? Go on then. Ready?